So
wherever you're going to be comfortable.
You said don't be proper.
Yeah, no, don't be.
Well, I'll start proper and then
don't mind me. I'm
Start proper and then get unproper.
hey, real quick. That's how we do it.
Cheers, thanks for being on. Ooh,
Thank you for
I love the nails, yeah.
You always say that.
Because I love to
They're
see what you
different.
got. Yeah, every time. Did you go get them done or did you do them?
Yeah, I got them done. It's been a couple weeks. You've seen how many? How many of my nails?
So many. Cheers.
Cheers.
Shark. So he's pouring.
Oh, we're gonna wait.
Yeah, we're gonna wait. Which, by the way, this is also in for this show for you being here, and also to celebrate my mother. So.
Wait, what do you mean?
Today she passed away 2 years ago today. So, but it's a good vibe. It's a good energy. So.
I feel.
Cheers.
Wow.
Cheers to you. Cheers to my mother.
Cheers
Salud.
to your mama. Mama.
I love you, mama.
That's
and you,
so-
mama.
oh, and Cash, we love you. Oh, yes. Wait, how does the mouth...
I know.
This is a tricky little...
Over there. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
You can see. So,
My face is...
welcome.
Thank you. Thank
I'm
you for
loving the
having me.
hair. I love the style. So tell me, let's start there.
What?
What inspired, like...
My different looks?
Yeah, when did that start? What, like, obviously you love fashion. You love that sort of thing, right? Like, when did that start for you?
Honestly, it's been in me since I've been a little girl. Like, I remember my mother literally, like, my mom's not alive. So she used to tell me all the time, like, Ash, since you were young, like 5, 6, and on through, the young ages, she was like, literally, you used to walk down the stairs every morning and I never knew what character you were going to be. Like, you were always dressed up as somebody, a wig, dresses, like, it's just always been something in me.
Do you remember what sparked that? Can you remember far back maybe on, for example, like for me, like musically, right? If I trace it back, like my earliest memory is Michael Jackson, his music video Bad. Like I had like
Influencers.
like I was growing up in church, and mainly that's where like I was getting the music from, right? And so I was already feeling that bond and connection. But when I saw that, and I think I was like 4. When I saw that, that's the moment I'm like,
Michael Jackson.
I want to do that.
So that's a good question, because for me, like, we have that similarity. I grew up in church my whole life. Conservative. Like, we weren't allowed to watch a lot of things on TV. We didn't have cable. We had 3 channels on our
We
television.
couldn't even go to the movies.
Oh, wow. How did you see Michael Jackson? Because I feel like my parents actually...
I snuck it, actually.
Yeah, see? I guess I wasn't as, like... I was actually a really good girl.
So was I. But when it came to music,
It was different.
it was different. I was like, I had to have it.
I get it. I mean, I grew up, like, we could only listen to Christian music.
Yeah.
So if you're asking what inspired me, I don't new Christian artists.
Who? I'm curious.
Like, female wise.
Yeah.
I was very urban. So have you heard of Out of Eden?
Yep.
Oh my.
That's why I asked, because like I know all this.
I'm terrific.
Yeah.
No one knows who
I do.
You do?
Yeah, Michael W. Smith.
Oh,
Amy,
yeah.
Amy Grant.
Oh.
DC Talk.
Yeah.
DC,
DC
Talk for me was like, I think we had this
Newsboys.
This discussion. Yeah.
Newsboys was one of my top bands for sure. DC Talk
Rebecca
for sure.
St. James.
Oh my God, amazing. Jackie Velasquez.
Same. I remember that was like so controversial in the Christian world, because of when she started to cross over to the mainstream.
And then she kind of fell off after that.
Yeah, fizzled away.
Rachel Lampa.
Rachel Lampa.
Amazing. There's so many. Stacey Arico. Do you know?
I do know. Pillar. I don't know if you ever heard that.
Yes.
So get this, with Pillar. Skillet. Pillar was my first rock show I went to at 18. And then we fast forward all these years, so the drummer, the guitarist, and the bassist, like I'm good friends with now. And like at that time, like that changed my life.
That's amazing.
They did, like that concert.
Yeah.
Because like up until that point, the only real thing I would just see on MTV and church.
Right.
But when I went to Dallas and this club, and I was like, this Christian band is doing this? Girl, like a line out of this club. And I was like, packed.
That's lit.
And like, I was like, oh my God. Yeah. So
I know. I went to like all the Christian concerts.
What was one of your favorites?
It's a good question. Probably Newsboys.
I saw Newsboys.
They're really good live.
I saw DC Talk 3 times. That's like that was besides, what about POD?
Love POD.
That's another one, like Marcos, the guitarist.
We are.
Yeah.
That's my jam.
Yeah.
They don't know. They don't even know. They're gonna be like, they gotta YouTube. Yeah. They gotta like Google all these people.
Google it.
Yeah.
I saw DC Talk 3 times, and like for me, they were like my Beatles. You know.
Yes.
And
okay, very similar.
Yeah, because like I feel like they were. I admired them so much because of what they were doing, but also on a mainstream level.
Exactly.
They were being played on MTV.
Yeah.
You know, they were getting Grammys. Mm-hmm. They were on the charts. Mm-hmm. And I was like, wow. But then, like, fast forward a little bit to like the late 90s when I first discovered POD. That's when it's like it really impacted me in the sense of like, wow, you can look like that and be open about your faith. Blew my mind.
Wow.
Blew my mind. I was like, because, you know, at that point, even with DC Talk, it was pretty straightforward about talking about God and Jesus, right?
Very much so.
But then I see these guys that are tatted and dreads, and it is uplifting, but they're not talking or singing like that. No, you know,
like they're not using.
That was very inspirational. To me.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
That's awesome.
That's hilarious.
So
yeah, I don't even know if it's like Christian artists inspired me. If anything inspired me, I just remember always being like this.
Yeah.
Like I was born like this.
So were you born into church or
yes.
Yeah.
Born into church. I got saved when I was 5.
Similar.
Do I remember? No.
I actually do.
You remember?
I remember where I was at the altar.
Wow.
I remember telling my parents on the way home about it. I was 5, I think.
That's amazing. Yeah. I wish I could remember. So I didn't remember. Just my parents, you know, you got saved when you were 5. So I was like, cool, you know, good. But like, I kind of like when I got to like 11, 12, I was like, you know, maybe because I was around it all the time, maybe I'll just rededicate my life.
Just to make sure.
You know, because I don't know, maybe because it was like a lot of, we did a lot of skits in church about heaven and hell and what's hell going to be like. It's probably terrified me a little. So I was like, I better make sure that I'm going to heaven. So I rededicated my life when I was 12. I remember that.
Were you involved in a lot of stuff at church?
Everything.
Yeah.
Mission trips. Youth stuff. So
tell me, how did so I'm assuming you spend a lot of time with that family. How did that compare?
Church family?
Yeah. Or no?
Yeah.
So how did that compare to like school and how did you maneuver when you would go to school or the other friends that weren't at church, or did you spend any time with them?
That's a good question. So I went to a Christian school.
Okay.
Of course. My parents were just like, I don't know what it was. They must have done everything bad in their lives.
So tell everyone where you're from. Where'd you grow up?
I'm from Virginia.
Okay.
Born, raised half, like 10 years, and then North Carolina, some half and half. So East Coast, yeah. Yeah.
So then your school was pretty much Christian too.
Up until, so I went to Christian school all the way until 8th, 9th, 10th grade. High school. Then, out of the blue, because money was getting really tight.
Yeah.
I mean, there was 4 of us in private school.
Okay.
My dad was the only one working. My mom never worked a day in her life.
What did your dad do?
He was an electrician. He the guys that climb the poles. And, he did that like 30, 40 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Gangster. Just remember waking up one day and they sat us down. They had like a sit down with me and my brothers. And they were like, so we've decided, things are getting really tight. We're going to take you guys out of Christian school. We're going to put you in public school. And I remember being so devastated. Why? Because you were taking
from your friends or
that was my when you get comfortable in an environment, it's like you're
especially at that age.
Come on. Yeah. And then now you want to talk about culture shock. You're putting me in public school the last 2 years of my high school where they're supposed to be the best years of your, you know what I'm saying? Like, surprise, no, we're going to shock you. You have to meet all new people. And it was just literally, it was very shocking for me, to be very honest.
So you mentioned sports, right?
Yeah.
How early did you start getting involved in sports?
Early. Like, probably middle school.
Okay. What sports?
Basketball, softball was really big for me. Like, I love softball. Basketball and softball were my main 2 sports. I did cross country, which I hated, but I did it because it kept me in shape for everything else. And then track. So
did you have to work hard for it? Where were you on the scale of like the teams and things like that?
Work hard. Oh, okay. So basketball, everything pretty much came really easy for me. Like me and my family, we're very like God gifted us athletically. All of my siblings, we were that family. Like when we used to walk into the gym or
like
school event. Oh shit! It's the maze. Swear to God, like that. I mean, everybody knew us as like we were badass, like badass in every sport, just naturally. Yeah, naturally.
For me, it started with like I loved all sports too. And I didn't know about all these peewee things because my family, no one in our family, like me and my brother, are first generation in the States. And I've always been a huge, mainly 2 sports, basketball and football. But I didn't know, and none of our family knew about peewee or all this stuff. So by the time I'm able to play in school, it's in middle school. So when I find out that all these kids already have been playing, I'm like, what? I was like, dang. But what did help me though is like I was constantly playing in the neighborhood. So there was a lot of kids in the neighborhood that we would play literally sometimes in the street.
So, you were sheltered, but not.
No, and then not really. Actually, not at all. Okay. Especially with the father I grew up with.
Yeah.
He's like.
I wish my parents did that.
And so like I lived near an elementary school that I actually went to, but once I grew out of it, in the evenings, everybody in the neighborhood would gather there to play basketball. And this was during the era of like Jordan and stuff, you know? Wow. So it's like, oh man, like I watched that religiously, you know? And I was always a good student and a good kid.
Yeah.
And so it was very easy for my mom to let me go play basketball almost every evening, you know, because I'd always get my homework done, all this stuff. But I wanted to be there because it wasn't easy. Like I said, grown up men and shit would show up, you know, and I started going there like around 6th grade.
Wow.
You know, so around 11-ish or something. And just to like hoping to get on in there in one game. Yeah. And eventually I did. But that's how I learned, you know, like just being there. So even though like I didn't have formal things, like I was still involved. And I remember this one guy that was a few years older than me. He actually would take the time to teach me some things. Aww, you know, he's like, nice. This is how you shoot, and blah, blah, blah. And like, I'll never forget it, you know?
That's so nice.
So sports, what about when you switched schools in high school?
So switched schools in high school, I all of a sudden, I still ran track. Track was really big for me during those last 2 years.
What did you run?
Hurdles, actually. That was like, I discovered that track, we didn't have track at my Christian school. So when we had track here, I was like, heck yeah. Like, I'm fast. Like, I knew I could, I don't know, I thought I could keep up. But,
being an athlete on the flip side, are you attracted more to guys that are or aren't athletic? What would you say?
That's a really good question.
Because I say that because I'm like, you starting to say that, I'm like, a really athletic girl is pretty hot.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of men think that.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't know.
I don't either.
You're like, I'm not a man.
I feel like for me, that's a good question. I love an athlete for sure. But I'm definitely open to.
Yeah.
I'm an open kind of girl. Yeah, doesn't have to be an athlete. No, if you can teach me something, I'm gonna be attracted to you for sure.
What about working out? Because I know. So we met in the gym. When did that start for you? Like the working out stuff.
The crazies. Yeah. I've always loved the gym, but I didn't really start weight training like I do because I'm crazy now. Probably it's been 3 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Only
3 years. And I'm like...
What did you do beforehand? Like as far as like...
A lot of cardio. I love cardio. Like I literally can do it like with my... I don't know. It's like it comes really easy for me.
They didn't make y'all do anything like that in like track or softball or
the weight
like
training.
Mm-hmm.
I actually took a weight training class in school.
Okay.
At the public school.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I got introduced to weight training in high school, and I took it. I mean, I always thought it was kind of boring. I never actually really enjoyed it, so I didn't do it for a very long time. I just like went to the gym. I would be on the stairs, on the bike. I would do everything, and I was more like body weight type stuff, like. I loved abs. If I could do cardio and abs, that was like my thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But wow, weight training, I'm obsessed now.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy. Like,
so then when I met you, then you were still fresh then.
No, I was just learning shit.
Damn.
Seriously. Just learning. When I came to Zoo, I was like a baby. For sure. Yeah.
How do you feel you're at now? Teenager.
Yeah, I graduated.
You graduated?
A little.
Yeah.
I still, I mean, I surprise myself though with how strong I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I love about the gym. Anytime anybody works out with me, I take that philosophy that I feel like I was taught and in a way stumbled into of finding out like there's something deeper here. And then discovering, like you said, we're capable of a lot more than we think. And I feel like the gym is a great tool to practice that mentally. And just recently, like this week, especially for me, I've been doing it for a long time, since like I was 13. So when you do something for a long time,
that's a long time.
So then like it's not about like what you know or the expertise, it's like reigniting that fire, right? Constantly keeping yourself engaged. And so that's where here lately I have found to have the challenges for me, you know? But I always go back to the basics, like this week, because like when I feel I'm having great workouts, and when I say great for me, I mean extremely challenging. Yeah. When I feel like I have that, I feel like my entire life is great. Is fine. Because it's like, for me, it's like a simulation of life. Yeah. I make it so much on purpose harder. And then everything else that I face in life, it's very similar. I'm like, I got this, And it really is just that. It's like, in my mind, how strong can you get your mind? Yes. How can you settle into this pain? Yes. And then use it? Yes. But then the tough part, though, is like, you got to go into the pain, though, So what's been your favorite thing about this new part of your life with the gym and weightlifting? My favorite part? I mean, honestly, I think I like to, because I like to challenge myself. And every week I try to up my weight and things, that's like really exciting for me. Yeah. I don't know. I just I can't wait. When I wake up in the morning, it's like one of the first things I think about. Like, ooh, it's deadlift day, or ooh, it's squat day. Yeah. And I don't know. I love challenging myself because through weightlifting, I've realized like how freaking, I knew I was strong, but this took me to a whole nother level here. Yeah. Like,
I gained so much confidence within just from lifting weights, for sure. Yeah.
And we still haven't worked out together.
Are you kidding
We
me?
need to do that.
We're going to do that.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
It'd be great.
Yeah.
I hope you're ready.
I mean,
I've been known to be psychotic.
no, I've seen you and Sue. You are psychotic. I mean, I remember deadlifting one day and I'm just in my zone, like, you know, trying to get my little 2 plates. And I look over and this guy, you had like 6 or 7 plates on there. And I'm like, what? You're just like, I'm like, what in the living? You always impress me.
Thank
seriously.
you. Like, I feel it's been a big part of my life. And I feel like that's what's helped. That's why I believe in the gym. And that's why I encourage people to exercise and challenge themselves. Because
so important.
On the physical side, I feel like it's a fountain of youth. It keeps you strong and healthy.
And
gives you
young.
the best shot to live a healthy life.
Yes.
But then you talk about like the mental aspect. I feel like a lot of the younger generation right now is I feel like missing that part.
They absolutely are.
Like it's just more like the physical and not to say that hard work isn't required for that, but it's like, man, if you just dig deeper, go deeper, like put your phone away for a bit or put the camera away for a bit.
And I work with kids, so I know exactly what you're talking about. Like these kids, it's shocking.
So tell me about that. How did you get into, because you do a lot of like
teaching,
dance.
Yeah.
When did dance come into play for you?
Church days. I used to perform at church with my sister to like.
What sort of dances or interpretive?
I guess it would be interpretive, but I was always, hip hop was always my thing since I was young. I would be in my room all the time in front of the mirror and I would just create moves and like.
So what hip hop, I'm curious, this is Christian, what hip hop did you listen to? Did you ever hear about Grits?
Wait, yeah. Grits is lit though.
Yeah, they are.
No, they're lit.
They are.
I still go back and listen to them.
For sure,
sometimes.
Me too.
Okay, who else though? It's a really good question. Grits was like for sure. I mean, my mom would go to the Christian bookstore and literally buy the latest. She knew I had to have the coolest like music ever. I mean, my mom was so good at that. Like, you know, like she would go and she would.
So was this just like a family Christian bookstore or what sort of? Yeah,
down the street. Yeah.
Did y'all have any other sort of stores or like that, or was that it?
It was the main one. Yeah, the Christian bookstore. Yeah.
See, we were, and maybe because we were.
It sounds so weird.
I know, right? That's it. That's
like
life.
How I grew up.
Yeah,
people would never guess that.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Same. We had this big. It was like a Walmart of bookstore, Christian bookstores.
Yeah.
But it was dope though, and I feel like that was made possible though because it's in Texas, you know, in Bible Belt.
Uh-huh.
So they had a lot of support in business. But it was cool because it was very modern and they appealed to the teenagers.
Yes.
So at the time, me.
Yeah.
And like they had a big coffee shop also.
Yeah.
A huge music selection.
Uh-huh.
They would have performances there. So it was like a hang.
It was cool.
For Christian kids.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I loved going there.
I know. I loved it too. Oh my gosh, I loved it. It was like one of the things we look forward to. Like, yeah. So Grits for sure. You know, like Out of Eden was a big one. But yeah, I mean, me and my sister, we used to just make dances up together and we would perform them.
How did that, I mean, we're probably fast forwarding here a lot, but how did that transition into like what you do now? Because
me teaching.
Yeah.
Okay, so dance was always something, like it started in church. I actually didn't start like getting serious about it until I was like 12. And then I started, like, I went to this, where I was from, there was this studio. I don't know if you heard of Alvin Ailey. It's like a really big ballet school in New York. So this guy actually opened like a full-on dance studio in my small town. And he was like, wow, amazing, like freaking amazing. And honestly, like, I studied there and I trained. I was taking like 3 classes a day. I learned so much in that time, like 12 to probably 16, 17.
It makes sense. So, like, because you can tell, like, when somebody has really good control of their body and with the moves, right? So, like, now that you say that, I'm like, well, that makes sense. Because every time I see you move, it's like, obviously, it takes a lot of work to make it seem effortlessly, right? So that makes sense.
Interesting.
Go ahead. So you took these classes.
It was like, and then it was like musical theater too. So I performed, like, we did shows and stuff like that. That's like where I guess my love for performing and dance just kind of took off from there.
Yeah.
But funny, it was like mostly ballet and modern dance, which I don't know if you know what modern dance is. Kind of very like kind of jazzy, but it was cool actually. I loved it, but not really hip hop. Hip hop wasn't really big where I was from. So here I am, and I'm I just like I feel like I created my own style, and everybody knew that. I don't know. Like everyone knew that hip hop was like my thing. It was just like a known thing. So
why did that resonate with you so much?
I feel like growing up when I was younger, like I would be in my room, like I swear, all my friends, because my parents wouldn't let us do anything ever. So I would be in my room, and like on a Friday night, I had a disco ball in my room.
Oh,
like,
damn. That's dope.
I mean, I had a full-on stereo, like speakers, like I made it lit, you know? And literally I would just play music, like radio, Christian radio, and whatever song would come on, I would just literally, I would like create like a dance. So in my head, I didn't realize this, but I knew I had a gift.
Yeah.
A very unique gift, since I was young. So it's crazy. Like when you're gifted like that, But
then too, though, like if you think about it, like you were investing a lot of time though.
Yeah.
Like, you were in your room for hours and days.
Because I loved it. It was my passion.
Yeah.
It was my passion. So yeah, I would set up my stuffed animals, and I would they would be my audience. I would make it full on concerts, bro. Like myself. Like I loved it though.
Did you ever record any of that?
I don't think so.
No.
I mean, it wasn't like recording wasn't really big back
No,
then.
but I say that like I was the kid with the fucking big camera. I was doing social media before social media. I kid you not.
Okay.
So like I have which I've been looking for, like, because I know there's these services that you can convert your VHSs into like, but they charge so much.
Yeah.
And so I've just been looking for like a VCR. Those are so hard. To find.
Yeah. Lit. This is the strangest. Like I don't know how to.
I will switch. I promise I don't have cooties.
Okay. I trust you.
So a friend of ours gave us this, as you can tell, last Monday.
What? Let's go.
It's like I was like, wow, it's pretty smooth. So it's like next thing I know,
really not bad.
Next thing I know, I'm like, we're done with it.
I usually have to have a chaser, but
yeah,
smooth. Cheers. Round 2.
Coke Zero.
Ooh,
if you need
it. Loves that.
Salud.
Salud.
Okay, kids, dancing.
Oh, style.
Yes, what style?
Okay. So I teach hip hop. Mm-hmm. I'm doing what I did when I was 7, 8, 9 years old. It's crazy. I'm still doing it. I'm still doing it to this day. I would have never thought, but it's happening. I'm doing it. I'm making money to go teach kids at their house, and I get to bring the music, and I get to create whatever the heck I want. It's freaking awesome. But deeper than that, what am I teaching these kids? Mostly girls, by the way. These young girls, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, that age 13. The biggest thing I've heard from parents is like the moms are just, they'll come to me like after a year or something. They're like, yo, I don't know what you did to my kid, but my child has the craziest confidence now. Like I've heard this for 10 years now. Same thing over and over. And I feel like that right there, like besides all the dancing and blah, 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 like whatever, like, because I feel like I've learned that and I'm pretty strong in that department. I'm not realizing it, but I'm gifting it to these kids. And that's awesome. So freaking awesome. For girls especially.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's different for boys, but girls today, like, I feel like confidence is super lacking. Super lacking. Super lacking. Where they can get lost and they don't know themselves.
You know, I've been feeling lately too, this whole year for me, like I've gone back to reevaluate what I'm doing with my music.
Yeah.
And why I'm doing, you know, the real purpose.
Because that is key.
And I have been thinking a lot about that, about younger kids and even myself at a younger age, like what impacted me? Why did it impact me that way? You know?
That's good.
And so the position I'm in now and what I'm striving for, I do want to be transformative. I do want to be a beacon of light. And I think you can relate with this coming into like the entertainment business and in the background I came from, as you did as well. I feel like it's only recent that I stopped fighting myself. I felt like I was running away from my purpose.
Wow.
You know, like feeling like I needed to be this rock star, this thing, and blah, and all these other things that people in the industry are telling you to be, and this is how you're gonna make it, and all this stuff.
Wow.
To come to the position I'm at today, me and Shark were just talking about that today. I'm like, I feel the most proud of the person I am today.
Wow.
But the willingness though too to go through it, because it's not easy to face, like, shine the light on every dark spot of your life. Because for me, it's like, what do I really want to do with music? And when I started asking myself with these questions, I traced it back. Like, how am I going to do that?
Yeah.
And I traced it back. Well, I have to live it then. I have to live this truth, not just pretend to be something on stage.
Right.
And then not.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Off of it. But like, what I want to project on there to be that all the time.
Wow.
And so, yeah, this year for me has been amazing in that route too, of thinking a lot about a younger generation and thinking a lot about the impact.
That's like, when we're talking about calling, like, that's my, kids has always been something I've known. Like, I have a mom that calls me the kid whisperer, because it's just like when she brings me to her kids, and I walk in and it's just like, she's so amazed. Like, I literally feel so, like, they're like my homies. Like, I don't know what it is, but they relate to me quick, fast. I see it, and it's like a gift, you know, and I love it. And I feel like, you know, when I go, that's what really keeps me motivated to do these dance classes. Because trust me, I don't like to drive around, go to house to house. Like, but when I get and I walk into the room and these kids, their eyes light up when I walk in the room, and they're like, oh my God, catch. And they just start telling me everything. And it's just like, wow, like, this is dope.
Would you ever like do like a studio or something like that?
I've thought about it a lot. It's just my own, like, for me, I don't know if you can relate, but the thought of being in this one studio all day doesn't really excite me. I'm very, that's what I like about traveling to different houses, because I like the change of scenery and, you know, that type of thing. But yeah, bringing everyone to one place would be amazing. Yeah, absolutely.
Or you could do that and then go on a tour of teaching.
That'd be freaking lit. I love tours.
You know, I feel like that's one thing I've learned, you know, there's many ways of accomplishing something if you open your mind to it.
Yes.
You know?
Agreed.
So maybe you don't have to be at a
Stationary.
spot all the time, you know? But that'd be dope.
Yeah.
That
could potentially happen for sure.
So when did you move to Los Angeles? Or actually, the better question is, what inspired you to make that move?
Oh, good question. It was a little mixture of a boy.
Yeah, right. A boy and a girl, or a girl. I
met
feel
a
you.
boy, but it was very like I feel like God sent him to me for a season.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, not to sound cliche or whatever, because God sent him to me, but no, like, real talk, if it wasn't for this guy, I would not be in California right now. Swear.
I feel you. If it wasn't for my ex-wife, I wouldn't be doing music. So.
You feel me?
Yeah.
That's why I feel like everybody that enters your life, if you feel a connection with them, it's a reason. Mm-hmm. Like, I always felt a connection with you.
I was about to say, I was literally about to say, stop running away from me. I'm kidding.
No, I'm not.
No, I know you're not. I was just joking. Not. But it's funny you said that.
For real, though.
Yeah.
I've always felt it. Day
Instantly.
one.
Yeah.
When I walked into Zoo.
Mm-hmm.
I still have a picture that we took together.
I was like, hey, take a picture with me.
Remember?
I do. Yeah.
It's crazy.
So a boy.
Well, yeah.
And you said it was partly a boy, and then what was the other part?
The season of my life. I was living in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Mm. I was waitressing at Red Robin. It was my first job ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was killing it though, bro. I mastered that.
You were serving the shit out that stuff.
I had people like once I got the hang of it, I was a beast for real.
But I feel like your person, the way you are as a person though, like you could be in any setting though.
I like to think that I can do anything.
Of course, that's the way to think.
Naturally.
Yeah.
It's like
So you were at Red Robin.
Yeah, and I was teaching at a dance studio. Mm-hmm. And so I met this guy. I came out to California. My aunt lived out here, and so it was my first time ever visiting. And I Googled this. Like, I was like thinking, like, what could I do? I could take classes, dance classes. So I Googled hip hop dance classes in California, and this one place came up, and it was like a week-long Christian hip hop. Yeah, I swear. Hip hop week-long intensive. And I'm like, Christian hip hop week? I researched it. I told my parents about it. They're like, yeah. I was like, okay, yeah, cool. Like,
who was teaching that? Do you remember?
Yeah, their names are Timmy and Ari Ritz. They used to dance in the like real world choreo. They were in the real world. They're pastors now.
No way.
Yeah, so they used to dance like for all the secular artists, and then they became pastors, and now they have their own church, and so now they're still doing these camps, by the way. So girl from North Carolina, never been here in my life. I flew out here. I didn't even know what the heck it was, bro. So I met this guy. This guy was in the week-long.
Where was it held? Do you remember?
Yes. It was funny because I live right down the street. The Marriott, Hilton?
Yeah, okay.
Topanga? Right here.
Yeah, it's like right here,
What
right?
is it? The Hilton or the Marriott? It's the Marriott.
Yeah.
Yeah, at that hotel.
Wow.
And I'm living 2 minutes from there.
It's crazy, isn't it?
11 years later. Yeah, it's wild. Anyway, I met this guy. And I mean, when he saw me, it was like, whew, I don't know what happened
to him.
What's
good, girl?
He fell in love like immediately, bro. And I just like, he brought his mom, he introduced me. And I'm like, bro, I didn't know.
Like right away?
Yeah, like dead ass.
Here in Los Angeles.
Dead ass.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I'm like, I was actually not even feeling him. Like, I was like kind of hella annoyed. Like, he brought me flowers. I was like, you are doing the most. And like, I don't even think that you're really cute. So anyway, I was like, whatever. I didn't think about it really that much. So I flew back home, North Carolina. Months went by, months. We exchanged numbers. I was not even thinking about him. He calls me randomly 3 months later. Hey, it's me. I'm not gonna say his name.
Yeah.
What's up? And I'm like, and I was single, crazy, but we developed a relationship through the phone. Like,
back in those days, huh?
I don't know, it happened.
Yeah.
It's crazy, but it happened.
No, I believe it.
So I would fly to see him, he would fly to see me. A year went by.
Where?
Here.
Okay. Oh, so he was from here.
Mm-hmm. Year went by, and he was like, why don't you just move out here? Like, he literally thought he was going to marry me. Like, he wanted to marry me. And I'm like, wait, what? He was like, yeah, just move out here. Like, you're a dancer. Like, what are you doing right now in Fayetteville? Like, what's really there? Do you have a goal? And I was just like, no, I mean, I'm like the best server at Red Robin. You know, I had no goals. So he literally flew to me in North Carolina, helped me pack my Kia, my car, and drove with me from North Carolina to California. And that was my move. That was the big move. And my parents were like, what the hell are you doing? You really even know this guy that well? Like, they were really, like, not really for it. So, but I did it. I felt like I...
So how was it adjusting here? Like the first months maybe, or even year? I
would say the first 4 years.
Okay,
wow. The first 5 years.
Really?
Were the worst years of my whole entire life.
How so?
I think that I didn't know anybody. I was by myself. I had my boyfriend, but that kind of crumbled fast. But I was in it to win it. That's my mindset all the time. I've changed a lot, by the way. Like, you can't really be like that. Like, but how I was raised, it was just like, I was in it to win it. I didn't, you know, he was my first everything. So it was really difficult for me. So yeah, I didn't know anybody, my whole family. Like, I just felt isolated, to be honest. I didn't know anybody. So it was really hard. I felt like he was the only person I had. And then again, I couldn't depend on him because he was going through his own stuff, you know? I don't really want to get into it, but he just had his own issues. We're cool to this day, though. I mean, he knows that he messed up, so.
So when was this when you first made the move out here? Because you've been here now
11 years.
Wow.
I know.
So 2011?
You?
I've been here 8.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I came out here 2014. Like, for me, it was definite purpose of music. Like, you know, I'd started, because before, like I said, I wasn't concerned or even thought music was a thing for me. Yeah. But my ex-wife, she'd always been a singer. And so when we got together really young too, you know, same thing, in it to win it. Yeah. That's
what they teach you in my line?
No.
That's literally what they teach you.
No. But I really believed that though. Yeah. I really you know, but anyways, long story short, because of her though, she convinced me to get back into music. And even then though, it was more like locally. My thought was like, I'm going to help you out just to play guitar until you get yourself a band and then you do your thing. Because I always believed in her. I thought she would do something great. But when I got into it, and after a few years of doing that, and it was just church gigs we were doing at the time. You know, we were doing a lot of youth group events, things like that. Yeah. And speaking of Michael Jackson, it was when he passed away. Wow. That shortly after that, like something like reawoke in me and I started to think, why aren't we writing our own music? Late on this one.
Are you?
Yeah.
You're late right now?
Nah. A little. A smidge.
Okay.
More like feeling good.
I feel good.
Sober up when we get lit.
Yeah, that's true.
What do you say?
I sober up
when we get lit to sober up.
Yeah.
I'm dying.
Where were we?
I actually don't remember. So.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
So music.
Yes.
The reason I moved out
Jackson.
here, Michael Jackson. I asked myself like, why aren't we writing our own music? And I've always been a writer. You know, I've always loved writing. But prior to that, I'd written one song. Before that, we were just, like I said, we were just doing church songs, you know, contemporary Christian music. But I was always like wanting to implement, like I would mix, speaking of Michael Jackson, I would implement like these sort of mashups, intros, right? Yeah. Into these Christian songs. But when that happened, I was like, we need to write our own music. So that began like the spark for me. And then shortly after that year, that was 2009. In 2010, I talked with my ex-wife. I'm like, we need to start a band. And she was really against it, you know, because up until this point, it was about her, you know. But I was like, no, like that's not the route to go. Like I had the vision already, you know. So I started a band. We started to gig. We started to really grow really fast right away.
Yeah.
Breaking into the Austin club scene, the Dallas club scene, Houston, San Antonio, gigging a lot.
Wow.
And we did that. We had a lot of close opportunities too with labels, things like that. It just didn't work out. And then 4 years later, I just felt like this is a dead end. And we need to do something. We need to move. So it was like, okay, we either can go to New York, Nashville, or LA. And I can go on and on of why, but it was just a feeling, an instinct.
Wow.
That's like LA. So that's why we moved out here. It was in like to purposely advance our musical career. And so not knowing that coming out here, as you know, would change my life completely. And even what I'm doing now, like as an artist myself, it wouldn't have happened without her, and then the move, and then us splitting, like all these different links, you know?
Yep.
That led to
What you're doing now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of who I am today.
I feel you. I mean, you know, now I'm like an MC on the microphone. Like, if someone would have told me that I was going to be doing that 10 years ago, I would have been like, oh, hell no. That's not me. Like, I was like a performer, like a dancer. But you gave me the mic? Oh, no. I was no. I was scared of the microphone. It's crazy. Like, it's so crazy.
I feel that in regards to singing. Although, like, when I think back, again, church, I was always involved in really more singing now that I think of it than even playing.
Yeah.
But when I decided to give it one more shot with music, after me and my ex-wife split up, I really considered going back home, going back to Texas, like just doing something else.
Trust me, I know. I've considered that, going back home a lot.
And but I actually sat down. I remember one evening, and I imagined it through. I sat there and like just daydreamed, like, okay, what am I gonna do? And I went through the whole situation of moving and a job and all these things, and I snapped out of it. I don't know how long, but it might have been maybe 10 minutes or something. And it freaked me out. I was like, that's not my life. And so at that point I decided, like, you know what, I'm gonna give music another shot as myself. And at that point I had learned so much in developing her as an artist.
Wow.
And I was like, well, I'm just gonna apply it to myself.
Wow.
But I didn't realize all these insecurities that I had, and even the singing. And some of my friends were like, even because immediately I booked myself a headlining gig at the Whiskey for my first show. Because again, I'm in it to win it.
Yeah.
I'm in it to win it, bitch. You know, I'm gonna go all the way. There ain't no tiptoeing.
Exactly.
I'm gonna see if I really got it. You know?
Yeah.
So we're gonna find out.
Yeah.
So in doing that though, like some of my friends were like, they were surprised to hear me talk that way, because they're like, what do you mean? Like they thought like I had it figured out. But internally, like I was struggling with the confidence to sing and be at the front and like, do I got what it takes?
Yep.
And I feel like that's normal though. And I feel like people don't talk
Absolutely.
about that process of that ugly figuring out. That's part of the greatness though.
It is.
You gotta just show up for that.
Just show up. And I remember when I was I took public speaking in high school. I remember being so terrified, but the fact that I still went up there terrified, those are the moments, like just getting, like, that's what, little by little, you keep doing it, fearful, scared, trembling. I mean, it's sweating probably, I don't know. The more you do it, it's like, that's how you overcome.
But that's it, right? You do it. You still go and
Just
do it.
do it.
Mm-hmm.
Just freaking do it. Scared, looking crazy. Trust me, I know. There's been a lot of times where I was like, I look like a fucking mess. I don't even know what the hell I'm saying right now. But I'm just gonna do it. Because I'm in it. I'm in it to win it. Can you title this "In It to Win It"?
I'm gonna in it to win it. Oh my God. So what's in the future for Cash right
Ah! Scary.
Yeah,
What
tell
do you
me.
mean? I'm trying to live. I'm trying to get through today.
now? I know, but like
Right
we
now.
also have to have a balance of like where
5-year plan?
where we're going. No,
What's your
fuck that.
5-year plan?
No, like
No, I know.
because I can tell you, like for me, like right now I'm in pursuit of landing management.
Okay.
To get a record deal, tour. Because I see this as a message, I really do, and we've seen it this year in the two performances we had. We had a show at the Whiskey last month. We had a show at the Mint in February.
Wow.
And like I said, man, this year for me has been very transformative and clearing my vision of my purpose. And back in February, I did something before a show that I hadn't done in years, which is pray.
I knew you were gonna say that.
I prayed before.
Prayer is powerful.
It is. And then I set the intention. And so that's what excites me of thinking about my future.
That's freaking dope.
I'm not just wanting to go out there to just
That part.
perform,
It's that part.
but it's like I want what I do, of what music and these artists did for me, which is transform my life. It really did.
That's why you're going to be successful. That's why you are successful. That's why you're going to do great things. Because it's deeper than that. It's deeper than just, hey, I'm performing. You know? I like what you said because, I have an entertainment company. I host parties. And even like before any gig, like when I'm driving to the gig, I'm just like, I say like a simple prayer. It's so simple and short. It doesn't have to be like extravagant.
Yeah.
I'm like, Lord, like use my gift. Like you gave me this gift of like joy to bring to people to celebration. I'm just like, use me however you want to use me. Just use my gift. That's it. That's all I say. It's so simple, because like you, I feel like God gives everybody certain gifts to serve, to serve the world and to show light and bring light. And that is what keeps me motivated and going. You know what I'm saying? So when you ask me like, what do you see Cash doing in the future? I feel like over the past 10 years, like I said, I didn't know I would be doing what I'm doing now. I feel like there's more things, there's more things that to be discovered about myself. I don't know. That's crazy that I'm saying that.
No, yeah.
But I feel like there's more things in me that aren't out yet.
We're deep individuals.
So like for me to be like, oh yeah, like I'm going to have an entertainment company. I'm just going to be hosting parties I know that there's more.
Yeah.
I don't know what, but that's the excitement. I feel like I feel like life is cool because, you do certain things in your life, like on a path. I was teaching dance classes. I was all about it. Like, yeah, I'm going to have my own studio. And then I got thrown into this. And then like I discovered like, oh my God, I love like leading people and telling people what to do and hyping people up. Like it's a whole new thing for me. Like it opened my mind to so much more.
Yeah.
I don't know what's next.
Yeah.
I'm open though.
So what would you say, what would be your advice for you being a young, gorgeous woman to younger girls? What would be your advice for younger girls facing this world today?
This world is crazy. That's a really good question. I think the biggest thing right now that I see is like, there's so many distractions in this world. And I even, if I'm struggling and I'm 30, I don't even want to say my
30, bleep.
I'm 25. This is my California age.
Yeah, she's slightly older than me, I'm 20.
Stop!
I'm 23.
Is that your California age?
Huh?
Is that your California age?
Yeah. No, I don't lie about that shit no more.
I know me either because you know what? I look 25, but I'm actually 36.
Damn, see, I'm 38.
Are you?
Yeah. So funny
What?
story
No
before you give your
way.
advice. About maybe 3 weeks ago. Yeah. About 3 weeks ago, I think it was, I forgot what day it was, but anyways, point is I showed up to the gym to work out And this kid, he's like maybe 21, Mexican kid, and I built this rapport with him. He's working on being legalized here, you know, and I understand all of that because I grew up with family that was illegal, you know, and that whole struggle thing.
Yeah.
So he comes and he's like, hey, and he was like, I could tell he wanted to ask something. And he was a little hesitant. I'm like, what's up, man? Do you mind if I ask how old you are?
Are you serious?
I'm like, yeah. And for me, being in the entertainment business, that was also something that I lied about all the time.
Wow.
And I was very insecure about.
Really?
Because that mindset of like, it's a young person's game, right? Going back to my purpose and transformative years, that's one thing that back in December, I decided when I scaled everything back, like we talked about, I was like, what's one thing though that I need something real though that I can use every day, right? So it was truth for me, meaning I'm going to live truthfully and I'm going to speak, I'm going to stop lying and on every aspect, stop lying to myself, stop lying to people and live truthfully. And so in that area, like before it was an insecurity, right?
Yeah.
But when he asked me that, but nowadays it's like, that's who I am.
I mean, you look great. I mean, I don't know why.
So when I told him my age, he was just like,
You're like,
really?
Yeah.
I was like, yeah. He goes, well, because of your beard, I would have put you at maybe like 28, 29.
Yep.
And I told him, and I actually told him this. I'm like, keep working out.
Exactly. Do you feel
Nah,
that?
I don't. It's
feel
weird.
like 22.
Yeah,
like-
somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Let's be 22. We could be 22
We're 22
together.
for sure.
Okay, cool. We'll be 22 in a metaverse.
Hey.
Okay, so back to your advice.
God, okay.
Finish it up with
I
the
mean,
advice
you know,
for young girls.
what was I saying? I feel like
Well,
young girls, okay, girls.
If it's good enough, you're gonna get one more shot.
Ooh.
Give me the advice because
Ooh,
I
don't
think
know
we're out.
if good is okay. So, like I was saying, distractions.
Yep.
Okay. I hate to say it, but for me, like just for my life, I feel like anytime I was going through the worst possible, like the lowest places of my life, which everybody needs to go through them.
Yeah.
But the lowest and the most unfruitful parts of my life, I know it's crazy to say this, but it was being in the wrong relationship. Even though, like, through the mess, I was still, like, I feel like I was still being, like, you know, God was still working through that mess, you know what I'm saying? But I'm talking, like, I'm such a woman of, like, I want to, like, I love to work. I love to do what I do. I love to be productive in you know, that's just my mindset. So I love to be successful and, you know, so I feel like girls, I just feel like women in general, they just get up under the wrong person and that one person can totally lead them off their purpose.
So what's the
and path.
how do you decipher that as a
That's- I
woman
know,
or as a
it's
girl?
like crazy.
You know, because me as a guy, I'll tell you this. Like, I knew the moment I should have let my ex-wife go. And that was years before we even got married. And I feel like we
Wow.
all have that internal
Yes.
compass and voice.
Yeah.
That if we just take the time to, like you said, remove all distractions and be within oneself to like ask yourself these questions and listen. I feel like you know.
You know, but we're it's crazy that you said that because I actually feel like
Shout out to the sound engineer, sneaking it in on the low.
Let's go. Hello. I felt like it's crazy taking it back to remember when I told you I moved out here for a boy. This boy, by the way, it's crazy to say this, but I knew that I was not supposed to be with this guy. I knew it.
Yeah, but you didn't listen.
No, I remember the moment I was sitting on my car. I was sitting on my trunk, and I remember I was in deep thought because I had to make a decision. I was either gonna go to California, I was gonna go somewhere else. I don't know. I couldn't remember. And I was like, damn. And I really had a moment, and I prayed, and I remember I did not feel peace about this guy at all. There was something not. Now I know.
Yeah.
After going through, I went through.
Yeah.
Oh man, I don't even want to get into it, but like I said, it was the hardest years of my life, to be completely honest. Traumatically, So I didn't have to go through that if I would have just listened to that inner compass, as you say. So yeah, girls, that's good. I'm glad you kind of helped me figure out the advice, because I was like, I don't really know exactly how to say it, but like, ladies, yes, I feel like women and girls, like we're just born with like dope ass intuition, I swear. And I feel like too many times we don't listen to it. And I just feel like you need to listen to that inner voice, because we know what's up. Like, so that would be my advice. Don't be distracted, because you get off course and it takes you, I feel like it's like a setback. Sets you back. Be purposeful. Like, you have gifts, you have dreams, like go after them wholeheartedly, and don't let anything get in your way, And I would say, like, pray about relationships are so vital.
Yeah.
They really can either make or break you. So I feel like relationships in general, any relationships, friendships, and boys, like, just really sit down and really pray about it and have a conversation with yourself before you follow after something, before you get in too deep. That's probably my advice.
And that's great advice coming from the girl with the hot pink shoes. Check it out. And I got yellow.
Hey.
Look at the colors. Amazing.
Let's go.
Midnight Rockers, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
That was
so much fun.
Last shot.
I love it. Wait, you're not going to take one?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
hey,
yeah.
hello.
We're going to take this show out.
Hello.
With the last... Because we're in it to win.
No, we have to say it together.
Okay.
And we're cheersing to it. Because we are in it to win it, baby.
Oh, shit.
Oh, God.
Peace.
Ha!